All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my next completed journal of this year. And in this journal, I'm calling it the color book because I wanted to really challenge myself with the student grade Prang watercolors, the pan QoR watercolors from Golden, and my favorite Ecoline liquid watercolors. And then I've just color swatched these acrylic markers, and I did use a few of those in here, so I wanted to make sure you could see which ones these are. So for this color book, you can see it's a handmade journal. This is a coptic stitch. The paper is Canson XL. It's mixed media paper. So this was made for me by a friend of mine. Suzi made this for me and gave it to me. I think it might have been for my birthday. So now it is completely colored. The cover is this kind of felt. It has a little texture on it. So I did use the paint pens to color in the front and back color. One of the things that I always do is I date my journals. So I made a note that this one was from Suzi on Canson XL paper so that I'll know what type of paper it was. I leave my first page in the journal to last. So I thought, this is a color journal, so let's do life is about using the whole box of crayons. So we start off with a little quote here. I divided however many pages there were, I divided it into 3 sections. So what you're seeing, this rainbow paint came from the Prang watercolors. They don't have a number for each one of these, and I try to figure out the colors, and so I just kind of made up the names, but you can see here's where I mix them, and on this page is where I mix them. For this one, these are more pure colors, so just working right out of the little paint there. And then the lettering, that's where I brought in the paint pens to do that. But I wanted to flip through so you can see the Prangs. You can see they're pretty bright, so this was oh, you can tell this was my favorite one here. It's almost out. These are just using them very pure, so not mixing them too much. And I would just explore kind of what I could do on the pages. I was playing with some little color palettes as well. You notice the green here is not as bright, so I started mixing in some of the colors with each other to kind of neutralize them a bit. There's a blue, purple, that magenta, or I think they call it red violet. I used a lot of it. I love this one. So look at where you can see. These are the colors straight out of the watercolor pans, but this is what happens when you neutralize them. So you can see coming off of the palette, this one I used a lot of the purple, that red violet, and I used the two orange and the orange red and kind of mixed them together, and I've got a little neutral here in the palette. So I absolutely love this color palette, and this is Prang. So those of you that get started, Prang is a great way to get started playing in your art journals. So some people are like, oh, I really want to get the good ones, and they're different philosophies. I get started with what I have. They're a cheap one, pretty satisfying for me. It helped me develop my practice. Now my second one, so this was the last one of the Prang, and then you can tell the intensity of the colors just is so much more with these. These are the liquid watercolors, so these are by Royal Talons. These are Ecoline. So these are my 3 favorites. I'll put a link to these in the description. The 201, 522, 337. And I love these because these I can mix. Let me just move this over. So I can take these 3 colors and I can mix them and get really bright primaries. So I love these 3. These are the 3 I use most in my work. Now, one thing to be aware of if you're getting started, the Ecolines are not light fast. So they call them fugitive. They will fade. These work really great in my journals because not much light gets in when it's closed. The other thing these are really good for is if you want vibrant colors and then you're going to digitize your work. They work great for that. The 3 colors these are what the 3 colors look like: the turquoise, the magenta, and the yellow. So you can see those pure colors. And let's see what I did with them. Did some exploration, lots of green. So this is going to be the turquoise and the yellow. And then I played with the turquoise and the magenta to see what I could do with it. And then this one you can see it has more of the turquoise than the yellow in it. Playing a little bit with all of them in a very lighter value. Actually, Kels did this one. And then playing with them a lot of that yellow with a little bit of the magenta to get the orange. Notice what's going on here. So this palette looks completely different. It is still the same 3 colors that I got these really bright colors with. But then I started with this. I used the Mother method, and I'll have a neutral tint, and this is it. This is where I do my first rinse of my brush when I'm working with these, and so it ends up being a neutral tint, and then when I mix that with my colors, it drops the intensity of them. So you can see these and these are the same, made with the same 3 colors. Here, they're not, I didn't use the Mother method to knock down that intensity. Over here, I did. Ecoline, and again, I'm mixing to get the green, to get the purple, to get the orange. Those are all mixed. And this is the last page with the Ecolines. Then the last section, starting here, these were the little QoR watercolors. I love this little travel set. It's so compact. These colors, so in their pure state, this is what they look like. So when I color swatch them, these are the Hansa Yellow Light, Transparent Orange, Quinacridone Magenta, Diazonine Purple, I don't know how to say it, Cerulean Blue, and Phthalo Turquoise. So love this little set. And this is pure colors, not much water, so they're very thick on here. It looks almost like wash. Here they are. I'm starting to do some layering with them. But this is pretty much what they'll do, that orange. I didn't have to mix because it's got an orange in it. It's got a deep purple already in it. But notice this. So these are very strong, very high intensity here. And then look at this. Same colors. So I painted that. And over here, notice how the intensities drop. And see this beautiful neutral. So again, the neutral tint. And creating a little puddle. I think this might have been purple, orange. So this gray color is made out of all the others. And so you can see I can, and that's part of what I wanted to do with the color book, was to learn to modulate the colors. I can amp them up if I need them to be really bright. I can create a more muted palette if I need to, using the same 6 colors. So you can see this one I was doing a little more, this was a little bit later. This was earlier when I was first working with them. And what you'll notice when I first, and I didn't do this book in order, so this was one of the first ones, this was the first one, and you can see as I work more with the medium and with the colors, I can get a better range. Oh, I loved this one. These were actually a couple of exercises from Journal Pod. You can see the difference here. Same colors, but the way I'm mixing them and bringing them onto the page, very different. And then here, this one's all the colors. In the neurographic style, the white was done with masking fluid. Oh, this is one I was trying to do little stamps on here, so it's kind of a failed experiment, but add it in. And then the last page, in the last couple pages in all of my journals, I'll have it like a notes page of things that I'll add in here. I did mention those acrylic markers. These are lovely. So they're waterproof because they're acrylic. And so this set, let me scoot this over. So I really like the combination of using the acrylic paint pens with watercolor. This one in particular, it has a wide variation of colors, so I can use them on lighter backgrounds. And so it's a great way to bring details into your work. I really like that. This set, let's see, the full range of it. All right, so the full range of this 30 marker set. So you can see it's about a little more than half of it are very warm colors. And so this was part of my swatching them and kind of starting to explore. And it's really the first dip into this. So the more I work with them and the more I learn, I'll do another video on them. I hope this has helped you see part of my process. As I said, I was challenging myself to explore the Prangs, my 3 favorite Ecoline liquid watercolors, and the QoR pan watercolors, just to explore to see what I could do with them. And then the acrylic paint pans were a little bonus here on the edge. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and I will also link all of the supplies that I used in the comments below. Take care. Thanks for joining me on this creative journey and peeking into my art journal. I hope today's session brought a little bit of peace and inspiration into your day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you don't miss our next art adventure. For more workshops and resources, you can visit superdoodlegirl.com.